We're live.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, and welcome to another session of Darkness in Dublin for the Demon Venue. As we begin, we find ourselves shortly after the rampage of the Black Spiral Dancer at the recent concert. We find one of the combatants of that dreadful night standing outside the mansion of the Tyrant of Dublin. The walls are as ever ivy covered, the gates are as ever chained shut. There is, however, one strange difference. There is a small parrot perched atop the gates, giving the visitor a very distinct bird form of side-eye. With that, we'll begin.
Which Brian probably would have got here by walking out of one of the portals that lead through the network in town, clutching his gut where he has.
I will point out that those portals have not been working.
Oh man, which meant that he would have had to have traveled here more slowly by driving.
Yeah.
In pain.
There's a very specific reason they haven't been working. You'll have to ask him.
Where Brian will walk up towards the parrot holding his gut, where he took 5 aggravated damage from a single blow from a whip.
Yep.
That very hurt, very slow, ow, existence is pain. And he'll look up at the parrot that is giving him the side eye.
What do you want? What do you want?
I, out of character, cannot remember the tyrant's name.
The tyrant's name, give me a moment, because I can't remember off the top of my head either. I should, but I can't.
I should, but I've had like 40 doses of narcotics since then.
Simon Carrigan.
I'm here to see Mr. Carrigan.
Bog off! Bog off!
About an incident that happened tonight involving things that are not normal.
The parrot looks down at you and then, quietly, squatting slightly, takes a crap.
I've got Lore of the Wild. Let me pull up the roll that I need to make. Because Command Animal is beautiful.
Yep. Now I have to get up my own rules. Just to double check.
Okay. Sorry, I went to grab my book.
That's all right.
Not just Lore of the Wild, but Lore of the Beast. Lore of the Beast is more appropriate here. Can I even compile a dice pool right now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
How bad your dice pool compared to dice penalties?
Dice pool is 5. Dice penalty is -2.
At 5 ag? I was expecting worse.
Well, because 5 ag fills the... fills the last -2 health level.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and the one after that goes straight to -5, I think.
Yep.
Right, yeah. So, Law of the Wild.
It is second dot manipulation.
I'm going to point out Law of the Wild works on plants.
Or not Lore of the Wild, Lore of the Beast 2, command animals.
Right. Yep. Make a manipulation plus animal can roll.
6F1. One success. Enough for government work. Also known as a doctor.
Go on. Make the roll.
Yeah, so I got one success, and it's just go tell him or someone.
It looks at you and then makes a sort of hacking noise in the back of its throat and then says, with clacks for its beak, I don't have to take orders from you. Incidentally, yes, that stands out to you as very freaky.
Yeah. Right now he's more thinking about the pain in his gut.
How many ranks of Lore of the Beast do you have?
I have 2.
Okay. Make an intelligence occult roll.
Yeah, like that's going to be a great dice pool.
One never knows.
Cannot compile dice pool. I have 0 occult.
And intelligence 2.
Intelligence 3, but cannot make a knowledge roll without the relevant knowledge.
Fucking hell. Right here. Okay. In that case,
Intelligence legacy?
Yeah, I'll let you have that. I'll let you have intelligence plus legacy.
Because I actually have legacy.
Yep.
What would be the difficulty?
This will be a diff 8. Because you actually have 2 dots in Lore of the Beast.
Yep. And wound penalty applies, I assume.
Yes. Yes, it will, because you're trying to notice stuff. So you will be distracted.
1 success. Enough for government work.
Okay. You're fond of that phrase, aren't you? Yeah. This beast, this parrot, has almost certainly been fiddled with using Lore of the Beast. It's probably what was once called a chimera.
Yep. Which, after this downtime, I think I will have enough to be able to buy shaped flesh, which means I could almost create a chimera myself.
Yeah, not quite, but you'll get there. Slowly.
Yeah. I mean, shaped flesh is close enough.
5? Wait, shaped flesh? Do you manipulate flesh? Shaped flesh is the 5-dot version.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I've got enough to outright buy the 4th dot and almost enough to outright buy the 5th as well. And I already have the 3rd.
I should point out, I would prefer if you bought these things in separate downtimes.
Okay, that's fair. But I think I might be like 1 XP short.
Yeah, you can buy them all at once, but I would, just for reference, prefer separate downtime purchases.
Yeah, that's fair. I meant to buy it during last downtime, but I forgot to post it.
All right. Okay. So the pirate, after saying that to you, so tilts its head as if listening. Then it straightens up. If you must. And then it hops in the air, like just sort of jumps with its legs. And there's a sudden cracking sound as it vanishes in thin air.
Did it look like it jumped into a portal?
Something like that.
Something similar.
Yeah. Around the same moment, you see a shimmering archway of silver appear in front of you.
And no one immediately steps out.
No.
Okay. And I'll step forward into it.
You step through what feels to you like warm water, but you don't get wet from it. You're totally dry. It just feels like a warm waterfall. And you emerge in a large wood-paneled office with a burning log fire in one corner.
This is where, having taken the damage in apocalyptic form, thus having regeneration, so he's not bleeding profusely everywhere. Because getting blood all over the carpet would be bad.
Yeah.
Or over the floor. That would have been bad.
Mm. The tyrant leans around from a high back chair. Sit down.
Yeah. And Brian will go and sit down because, dear God, ow. Standing hurts. Those muscles are involved in standing.
When he notices you're hurt, he reaches over, holds onto your forearm, and after several seconds of what feels like warmth moving through your arteries and veins, it reaches the pained part of you, and you actually feel your flesh closing up. You can feel the regeneration happening. It's not unpleasant, but it's a very odd sensation. When that ends, he takes his hand away.
Thank you. Tonight, there was an incident at concert.
So I hear. Clicks a button on a remote. TV pops on. News story reporting violence. Blaming it on Ireland's own.
It was Ireland's own, but it was a werewolf. With a whip that cut like an angelic weapon.
A werewolf.
Yes.
Forgive me, but werewolves don't tend to linger at concerts. I've known a few in my time. They don't linger around concerts. In parks, maybe, but not in concerts.
Yes. She was standing outside the front giving flyers, and then towards the middle of it came onto the stage and attacked. Killed quite a few people before she was put down. She was there with a man that released her to attack. And he vanished. Don't know how he disappeared, but he did. Like 1 second he was there and then he wasn't.
So you're thinking a werewolf and what? A mortal magus, perhaps?
Maybe, but the werewolf seemed subservient to it, but not bound to it. Like my character actually has Animalkin 3, like a wolf pack.
Yeah,
An Omega
with
with
Animalkin 3, you'll have noticed it was not so much like an alpha of the pack, more like a well-trained animal handler and his pet guard dog.
Yeah, so like an animal handler and his guard dog.
That seems odd. Werewolves aren't usually like that. It's not the ones I've encountered. Yeah, it has been a while.
Needless
this whip.
Yes. Burned and with some green fire.
his fingers twitch. Green fire?
Yes.
Was it coppery green or some like a vile acidic green?
Let's see. Considering it was Bellfire, it'd be the acidic green, right?
Yeah.
Violent acidic green.
I see. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay. And you're certain this creature was alone, apart from this Magus?
As far as I could determine, there was no one else on its side there.
You say that as if there were people that weren't on its side.
Yes. Several individuals that knew Lil, along with another woman, Anna, who was thankful that the werewolf was not one of hers. And she wasn't certain that it wasn't one of hers until after it was explained that that was a werewolf.
One of hers?
I'm not sure.
Are you talking about Leal here?
No. The woman, Anna.
Who's she? I don't think I've met that one.
It was my first time encountering her. If I had to place a guess, since the werewolf was not one of hers, she was not one of ours, she was not one of the other group, the other group that looked, well, like the dead, I would assume possibly a mortal mage of some kind would be my guess.
Oh, joy. Joy. You managed to get yourself embroiled in the activities of mortal magi and a werewolf. Ecstatic.
And the werewolf's body and weapon was taken off with the dead. The walking dead, should I say.
Walking dead? No. God, not Kane's bastards again.
Yeah. They took the body and the weapon. Two different individuals.
Right. You can see him like clutching the bridge of his nose. He's clearly highly frustrated. What is it with this city in attracting utter lunatics?
Yeah.
Right. Go on.
It was one of Kane's bastards that managed to down it after, between Will and myself, we had it up in the air and confused. And his guns, the Kane's bastards' guns, was what did it in.
Guns?
Guns.
As in bang bang,
Yes.
trigger pull?
Yes.
That makes no sense whatsoever. You don't down a werewolf with a gun. You down them with a tank.
It was about 20 shots, most of them hitting it in the head.
Even so, I've
And,
seen these things. They're hard to kill.
and most of those shots were done in a matter of about 12 seconds.
Okay, that might help. All right. Well, that raises a problem.
They have the body and the
No,
weapon.
no, that's not the problem. That's definitely not the problem. The problem is werewolves. They behave like wolves.
Which means
They
a
seldom.
pack.
Exactly. They seldom travel alone. Now, if we're lucky, this one was traveling alone. Maybe that's what the Magus was for. Maybe he was its owner, maybe.
We can hope.
But if not, there won't be more of them.
And if that was just the attack dog,
If we're lucky, the reason it was the attack dog was it was the scariest. But knowing my luck,
it's probably not the scariest.
no. Okay. Okay. I'm going to have to reopen the network, aren't I?
Yeah, why is the network down?
I didn't want Leal having easy access to the estate.
Ah, what?
The young idiot managed to. Well, it's not entirely her fault, but she's too young to be trusted with this sort of power. Too young to be relied upon.
Well, currently she's in a far worse state than I was. Still alive, but I doubt she'd be able to walk for quite a while.
Nevertheless, she is too immature. But then again, she is part of the court. Very well. Very well. He pulls off from his belt, essentially. It's like a series of decorative things attached to his belt. They look a little weird. They're sort of like almost like child's made necklaces. He breaks one off, passes it to you.
Which Brian will accept.
Wrap that around her wrist when you see her.
All right.
It should help her heal.
Okay. When I left her, she was with Gunter, so that shouldn't be too hard to track her down. Or it might if her brother came for her.
How good are you with animals?
I'm passably decent. I'm not able to possess them, but I can call and command them.
In that case, you can do me a favor. Follow me. And he gets up and walks over to the main doors.
Which Brian will follow.
he leads you to a series of corridors. Like, you occasionally step out into a room, and then you'll go through what, like, in a couple of cases, you end up going into literal wardrobes. But eventually, you reach what appears to be an old greenhouse at the back of the building. And he turns a tap, an old rusted tap. And as water pours through it, the room itself seems to rotate. It's almost like you're standing on a platform. And then he says, turn around and do it slowly.
So Brian will turn around slowly.
There is an enormous rhino sat in a holding pen about 10 feet from you.
Oh boy.
It looks very sick and covered in wounds and boils and open sores. It looks very, very ill.
What happened to it?
She was wounded badly. I've been trying to fix her, put her back together. It's not easy, though.
Need to keep her calm.
Calm isn't the question. Read her mind. Open your senses to hers and, well, you'll see.
And what will be the roll for this?
That will be, I'll say, perception, animal kennel.
Okay. Do I still have wound penalties or no?
No, you won't. You have been completely healed.
Ah, yes. Not that my dice pool is fabulous. It's still 5. If it's going to be anything like last night.
Consider spending willpower.
I don't want to spend any more willpower when I'm already down to less than half. My dice pool is 5. So, what's the difficulty?
Standard? Diff 6.
Okay. 3 successes.
Okay. You lock eyes with this creature as you feel yourself getting pulled in through its eyes into its mind. And suddenly, you're in agony. It feels like your very essence is being pulled in 1,000 different directions. You feel your flesh tear, your mind begin to break, until finally you feel your demonic essence begin to break into fragments. And although bits coalesce, you realize you have been... The sensation you're feeling is what it would feel like to be split into 5 or 6 different pieces and scattered far and wide. And you feel that deep inside this rhino, inside this mortal, slowly rotting body, and you realize it is necrotic, it is actually dying from the inside out, is one part of a demon, screaming to be rebuilt. And suddenly, you are propelled back through its eyes and slammed back into your own body.
What happened to cause this?
Like I said, she was wounded. I've tried to fix her. But locating the other parts of herself It's not been easy.
Yeah, especially if the other parts are as torn as this one.
Yes, they're all damaged. They're all broken. But at least it might give her some relief.
What would you like me to do?
Oh, there's nothing you can do. Not yet. But I wanted to know if you were capable of perceiving her pain, just in case I need someone else to help me. Just in case. As to the question of the werewolves, or in this case, werewolf, if you do hear more about them, let me know.
Will do.
Oh, and I'm going to reopen the gateways. I'll have a map delivered to you so you know where you're going.
Thank you.
And he smiles faintly at this. If you see Leo and that vampire friend of hers, tell them I said they're welcome.
She brought a vampire here?
Not here. But my ministers tell me that a car had to be sent to collect her and the vampire. I wonder if you'd like to read the report.
That would be nice, because I know of a few that recognized her on sight and by name. I
wonder. And he steps up back over to that tap that's still running, turns it to stop it. The room seems to rotate again. And you actually see the rhino vanish as a certain point in that perception of rotation is reached.
Mm-hmm.
And then he reaches into what appears to be a load of ivory. And you hear clicking from the other side. And suddenly, everything goes dark, and then there's a loud vroom noise. And you can hear the thrumming of fluorescent lights. And you realize you're in what appears to be a large warehouse filled with thousands of filing cabinets.
Looks to be a lot of reports here.
Most of them are my diaries. And he smirks when he says that.
Definitely a large collection.
These records are the best recollections I have, dating back all the way to before the fall. A near perfect record of the world before the war. And yes, for reference, that means that this record, in and of itself, would be if you were to study it all, would be the equivalent of Legacy 10.
Wow.
Absolute perfect recollection.
But studying it would take a lifetime.
Yes, multiple lifetimes.
But not multiple angel lifetimes.
True. But you see him walk over to a desk. And he pulls from the desk a folder. Holds it out to you.
Brian will take the folder.
It's a report. It states that there has been detection of a suspected earthbound presence in the city. It has been narrowed down to one of a dozen locations. And a car had to be arranged to be sent 3 hours before in order to reach Leal and a unknown vampire companion in time to save them from the earthbound. It basically then goes on to detail all the events from the industrial park scene.
Does it give a physical description of the unknown vampire?
It does not.
Dang. Okay.
I'm still wondering when she's going to visit me to report on the existence of an earthbound in the city.
Yes, speaking of earthbound, one of the things I overheard, a vampire trying to remember his name. Time I was in a good bit of pain, so the name was foggy since it was only said once. He made an agreement with the Earthbound to bring people to it.
Who did?
One of the vampires.
I see. One of Cain's bastards was making a deal with an earthbound.
Yes, for innocent people to be sacrificed to it.
Do you have any contacts among the vampires?
I don't have any contacts among the vampires. I remember a couple of vampires who were there whose names were said: Ryan, Dr. Cornelius. Wasn't either of those two, though. It was the other vampire with them.
Nevertheless, if you can find a way to extend a hand of invitation to those two, and then inform them as an agent of the court that members of their kind have been making dark pacts with beings that even our kind call abominations. That should get their attention. Let Cain's bastards clean house while we deal with the earthbound.
The vampire Ryan was already aware and claimed responsibility and stated that while he made an agreement, he was not an infernalist.
I would have thought by definition making a deal with an earthbound made you an infernalist. After all, they are the sort of creatures that human myths always refer to as demons.
Yes.
They are to us as a mortal toddler is to Cthulhu.
Yes, and it seemed like Lil had all of their contacts, so I can try to get the contacts from Lil.
Say that just once more for me. That last bit.
That it seemed like Lil had all of their contacts, and that I'll try to get the contacts from Lil.
His fist slams into the desk, and you see cracks form in the desk. I have a better plan. Find Lil. You're to bring her here.
All right, I will do that as fast as I can.
My advice is make sure she doesn't bring the gun. And bring her in shackles if you have to.
All right.
With that, he gestures, and another silver archway with what appears to be silver rain in a waterfall cell effect manifests a few feet away from you.
Which Brian will take his leave. He knows when he needs to go get Lil and bring her back.
As the portal closes, just before it closes, you hear a blood-curdling scream of anguish. And then, thump, portal closes.
Yeah. He's not happy about that.
No.
It would have been worse if he mentioned that Lil had several of their business cards.
Yeah. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we shall end tonight's scene, at least this particular one, while our dear demon goes off to find Lil and bring her back to the Tyrant in shackles if need be.
Yeah, he's probably just going to punch her, do some bashing, since she only has one health level left, knock her unconscious and bring her back away.
That can also work. In that case, if you haven't already, kindly stop the scene.
Okay, I slapped that button.